Ms. Olamide.
Okay, now better.
Ms. Olamide,
Yes, I can hear you.
just give me a few seconds. Just few
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Conference at the break. You can start now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Nice to have you here today. Please just give us about 5 minutes to allow others come in. 5 minutes, please, so that others can join us. Thank you.
Yes. Start video. And his voice. I can call her to let her know because I can't hear anything from my.
Welcome, Mr. Biavanu.
Thank you, Sister May. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Good to have you here. Dr. Temilola, you're welcome,
My
sir.
pleasure.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mars. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Joachim, thank you. We are glad to have you here today again.
Thank you so much.
Happy celebration, sir. Okay. Okay, so I think we can start now.
I hope it is the same. It's the same thing.
Please, let's okay. 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 You are welcome on board, ma. Mrs. Omotosho. Nice having you here, ma.
Thank you so much. God bless
Yes,
you.
ma. Thank you very much, ma. It's wonderful to have you here. Amen, ma. Amen, ma. Thank you very much. Greetings to everybody. I think we can start now. So first on our agenda is the national anthem. So we'll be having the national anthem now.
Oh God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know.
Sorry for the itch.
Thou noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow and live in just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Arise, O compatriot,
Wow, nice to have you here. Good morning once again, everyone. You're welcome to
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. You're welcome to International Day of Social Workers, and I'm glad to be here, which I believe every one of us too, we are glad to be here. Coming on here now is the chairperson to give our opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We can.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Can I hear you?
Please, let's mute our microphones. We welcome you, Mrs. Nino Ratin from Indian, Social Talk Town. Welcome on board. We are glad to have you here. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm also very excited to be here with you all.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice having everybody on board this morning. Happy International Social Work Celebration. Like we all rightly know that March every year is Social Work Month. And the third Tuesday of March every year is the D-Day for our celebration, which was yesterday. We thank everyone that made out time to be part of this celebration, which we flagged up on Saturday with a media tour to NTA2 Channel 5 in Victoria Island, a media tour to Arise TV yesterday, and a couple of things that had happened between Saturday and today. We are glad to have all of you on board. The celebration still continues tomorrow. We are going to visit some former care homes in Lagos State to donate our widows' mites as part of this celebration. I welcome everybody on board, and I wish all of us a fruitful time together. Let me especially thank the Vice President African Region, Mr. Joachim, for making our time. We just finished a presentation at the United Nations platform this morning, but for creating time to be part of us this morning. Let me welcome Nunu of Social Talk Town. Let me welcome the Vice President of our dear association, the Vice President of the North Central now. Yes, let me welcome you, especially my sister. You are welcome on board. For the elders in the house, we welcome you all. And we say thank you for always being part of us and for your support. Let me quickly also acknowledge the receipt of the fund and the other items donated by our members. We say a very big thank you to everyone that's been part of this donation. We say the Lord will replenish the source. We're grateful and we say thank you, because without you, there can't be us. That is why the theme for this year's celebration is Ubuntu. I am because we are. Together we'll make more successes. Together we'll do more. Together we'll go places. And I say good morning once again. Welcome to today's program. Over to the anchor.
Wow. Thank you, Chairperson, for that opening remark. We are grateful. NASoW, service to humanity. NASoW.
Service to humanity.
Service to humanity.
Yes, we'll be calling on NASoW the student wing of NASoW, the president, for his goodwill message. Mr. Toby,
Good
you
morning,
can have the
everyone.
floor now.
Can you hear me, everyone?
Good morning.
We can hear you. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. I'm opportunity to be here. I'm privileged to be here. With great minds and very high and mighty people. And I thank you for making me be part of this wonderful occasion today. So I will be sharing a little speech that myself and the rest of my colleagues have tried to, make up and for this wonderful occasion. Okay, I'll start now by reading. We've heard that the world is a global village an immeasurable number of times, but just like the routers and the hotspots that keep us connected across the poles of the earth, there is a profession that connects the world. In these times, when people are focused on individual successes and well being, an aftermath of industrialization, no doubt, there is a core of humanity, firmly ingrained into the meaning of being a social worker. To serve in capacities that are so far out of the mainstream, to maintain the confidence in the face of unbending situations, and to achieve success that is measured by the smiles we put on the faces and the lives that we make better. So much more, like the internet router and the hotspot, we are the walking limbs that connect individuals and families together, groups and communities, spreading the commission that we've been assigned for justice, for equality, for liberation, and for development. Social workers are the front line in every situation, ensuring that the human interest is protected at all costs. And I have never been more proud to bear the title of being an aspiring social worker, to work alongside great men and women like you people, my lecturers, and my professors, the unsung heroes that are devoted to carry the responsibility of care and bear the pangs of development. Professionals who put the human first and devote their lives to improving lives for others. It is an honor to commit to the good work of social work profession for this unit to the world. I am because you are Ubuntu. Thank you very much for listening to my wonderful brief speech. I really appreciate you guys for making me be here today. And all of my lecturers that are also on this platform, I want to say a very big thank you. It I wouldn't have been here without them. So it's an honor, it's a privilege. And for the chairperson herself, it's a privilege that I've been working with her from time to time up to this moment.
Mm. Hello, thank you, Toby. We are glad for that speech. And we'd like to bring on air. We'd like to bring on air the representative of our national president, Mr. Mustafa. We have here on the platform Ajia Adijat Umar. You're welcome, Ma. Ajia Adijat. Please, you can come on here now.
Yeah, I'm on air. Thank you very much. Are you hearing me?
Okay.
You can hear me
clearly.
now.
Very
I'm
well,
very
ma.
happy to be here this morning, and that we can sit together as social workers across the country, across continents, and within our continent to talk here is another, milestone that has actually made me happy as a person. And our associations all over the world, this is also an avenue for all of us to get together and begin to push forward the agenda for social work for the sake of humanity. And collectively, we shall make it according to our team this year, Ubuntu. I want to say that in Africa, we have so many challenges, just like any part of the world. And Nigeria will also have our own peculiar challenges. Part of our challenge, which is for me, for the association, is the biggest one, is that up to now, we are yet to be codified as a profession in Nigeria. We have been working on it in Nigeria, and I hope we will find a way where all of us can collectively, even across continent, push the agenda of making social work profession to be codified all over our countries, because that's one of the ways we can actually promote the quantity and the quality of service that we render. I want to congratulate the Lagos State chapter for putting this meeting together, and all our national, Vice President Africa region. I also want to congratulate Ninu Ratin that joined us all the way from, I guess, India, I don't know where. So I want to welcome all of you on board, and I wish all of us a fruitful deliberation as we put our minds together to promote social work profession and promote the humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajia Adijat Umar. We are glad for that wonderful speech. Coming up next is Mr. Joachim. Mr. Joachim, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be part of this celebration in Nigeria. Thank you so much for extending the invitation for me to be part and parcel of what is happening. So distinguished social worker colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I should say good afternoon, because here my time showing 12:24. As the global social work community stand together to commemorate this year's World Social Work Day under the theme Ubuntu, strengthening social solidarity and global connectedness. We as social workers in Africa have joined, social workers across the globe. And we are delighted and glad at the same time that the theme emanates from Africa, and we are, as Africans, contributing to the global narrative for the profession. Ubuntu, as one of the pillars of the global agenda for social work and social development, may not have come at the right time as this, when the world is facing a lot of challenges ranging from the COVID-19 pandemic, growing social inequalities, flourishing terrorism, especially in most parts of Africa, and many other challenges. I'm of the view that the ethos of Ubuntu will inspire the profession, our great profession, to confront all these challenges. When we're talking about Ubuntu, I think there's been a lot of discussion about what Ubuntu is not. So when we're talking about Ubuntu, we are basically talking about, humanity. Ubuntu is a concept that reminds us about the essence of being human, and that as human beings, we should strive to do unto others as we would otherwise want them to do unto us. So the concept of Ubuntu inspires us to empower individuals, to empower communities, to empower our society. Ubuntu is used in a more philosophical sense to mean the belief in the universal bond of sharing that connects all humanity. So sharing is indeed caring. Ubuntu does not only talk about the responsibility of the individual towards the community or collective, but also the responsibility of the community or society towards the individual or an individual, including ensuring the well-being of both the community and the individual. Some 2 days ago, that should have been on the 15th of March, we had a public lecture which we streamed live as IFSW Africa on our Facebook page. And we had our guest, speaker, Dr. Jacob Mugumbat. He has extensively written about Ubuntu. And what he made mention in his presentation was that Ubuntu extends beyond community to society. He talked about the 6, levels at which Ubuntu is, affected. He talked about at individual level, family level, community level, societal level, and extending to the environmental level. And for me, I think that was a very good illustration of what Ubuntu is about. He further noted that Ubuntu is not about submission, but about social justice, freedom, and liberation. So Ubuntu is not only about giving, sharing, working together, solidarity, or forgiveness, but it also deals with the structural issues too. So we could be talking about Ubuntu when we're talking about politics, when we're talking about the general, way of life of the people. So the philosophy, again, there is a misconception that the philosophy of Ubuntu originates entirely from South Africa. But Mugumbate chose to argue that the philosophy of Ubuntu actually originated from Africa. So we have some element of Ubuntu within or across Africa in many African countries. And they may not be using the term Ubuntu because the term Ubuntu is a Zulu term which comes from South Africa. But each country, I know maybe in Nigeria you've got a similar terminology that you may be using, but which basically talks about Ubuntu. So it should be noted, therefore, that Ubuntu is not just about the individual, but it is about family, community, society, environment, and spirituality. So according to the African Journal of Social Work, Ubuntu is a collection of values and practices that Black people of Africa or of African origin view as making people authentic human beings. So, as we live in our communities, there is this saying usually, if you do something out of the ordinary, like you are not sensitive to the needs of a fellow human being, people would always want to associate you with somebody that is not human. So Ubuntu is about being human. It's about being, considerate. It's about being respectful to other human beings. So what I see is that, yes, Ubuntu as a concept and as a philosophy would have a lot of influence, on our social ethics, values, and principles. And also that Ubuntu informs our social interventions and makes them relevant and sustainable. And adoption of Ubuntu ethos to social work is one way of demonstrating indigenization of the profession. Now we are talking about the decolonization of social work. And these are some of the salient elements in terms of the philosophy, African philosophies that we need to bring on board for us to be able to be talking about indigenous social work training and indigenous social work practice. So Ubuntu can be applied in our interventions with the individual, family and community. There is a saying in my, in my country, I'm not quite sure, maybe in Nigeria too, that it takes a village to raise a child. And this is very relevant when we're talking about child protection, because as a profession, we need to learn from, the ways in which communities or the villages are looking after the children. Because in my village, it is the responsibility of every adult to take care or to provide protection to a child. So Ubuntu can be applied in the area of social justice, human rights, social welfare, empowerment, liberation of people, as well as when we're looking at the concepts of respect for diversity and collective responsibility, we see that these are part and parcel of Ubuntu. So I would want to implore the social workers in Nigeria and across Africa that, yes, let's take advantage of this opportunity that we are using a term or the concept or the philosophy which indigenous or which comes from Africa at the global level, to be able to come out and enlighten the world that as Africans we've got the values that we hold dear and the values that can influence our great profession, as well as global narrative of the social work profession. So I am, because we are. Happy Social Workers Day, and I wish you all a great deliberation. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Joachim Mumba. What a wonderful speech. At least I've gotten few things to take home, which number one is Ubuntu. Being human is about being human and showing respect to others. So as social workers, we need to respect others. As humans, we need to show compassion, show empathy to others. Thank you very much. We appreciate your coming. And so, I don't know if anybody is excited as I am. I'm super excited today because I know definitely I am going to take more than one thing home. So join me, have your pen, your writing materials at hand so that we can learn, unlearn, and relearn as we learn more about Ubuntu. I am because we are. Like Mr. Joachim said, it takes a village to raise a child. So definitely no man is an island on its own. So we will now have our first speaker, who is an academician of repute, Dr. Olusegun Temilola. Okay, Doctor, I'll read this profile. A brief profile about Dr. Temilola Olusegun. Temilola Olusegun is a senior lecturer in the Department of Social Work, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Lagos State, Nigeria, and an active member of a few research studies with high-quality publications in reputable peer-reviewed local, national, and foreign international journals. It teaches social work courses, social demography, social research method, social gerontology, and population studies, among others. His research interests include social welfare, population studies, youth studies, social work with older people, public health, and digital humanities. Population studies, hitherto, he worked in Bowen University, Iwo, in the Department of Sociological Applications, where he performed in various leadership positions as an academic staff before joining the services of University of Lagos. He is an erudite scholar and recipient of several grants and fellowships. He is a member of International Sociological Association, ISA, the Society for Social Research, SSR, International Union for the Scientific Study of Population, IUSSP, the Union for African Population Studies, UAPS, and Nigeria Association of Social Workers, Lagos chapters, among others. Wow. So you can agree with me now that we are in for a wonderful time. Welcome, Dr. Olusegun Temilola. Glad to have you here today.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I believe you can hear me. I want to say happy Social Work Day and happy celebration to every one of us. I salute my chairperson of Nigerian Association of Social Workers Lagos chapter. I also want to greet everybody participating
Hello, sir.
within
Hello,
and
sir.
outside Nigeria. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please turn on your video so that we can see your face, sir.
Okay. Just a bit. Just 1 minute.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Please, let's all mute our mics, please.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Clearly, sir, but your video is not on yet.
Okay. Okay, you want to see my face? All right, thank you.
Yes, we need to see your face, sir.
All right. I might be changing it intermittently. Can you see my face now?
Yes, I believe we can. Yes. Though it's dark, but
All right.
all right.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Once again, I want to thank you for the invitation given to me. And this morning, we are going to be looking at the concept of Ubuntu. And I want to thank should I call him the first speaker now, Mr. Joachim Umbua. You know, he mentioned some things which I'm going to also talk about. This year, the theme is social solidarity and connectedness. If we look at that two words, it's actually center in on the core value of social workers. So you cannot say you are a social worker if you are not solidarizing or you are in the same page or you are sharing the same, you are feeling the pain of your patients or whosoever you are trying to provide care on. So this morning we are going to be looking at the relevance of this particular concept of Ubuntu to social work profession in Nigeria. That particular word, for those of us who have done one thing or the other in humanities, social solidarity was actually one of the words provided by Emily Durkheim. And he identified two types of social solidarity. We have the mechanical solidarity. We also have the organic solidarity. The mechanical operates mostly in simple village-like society, while the organic, operates in the advanced, let me say, 24 society. Hello. So we need to understand that the word itself, just like somebody has said earlier on, Ubuntu is an African word from South Africa, a Zulu phrase, actually. And that word means a person is a person because of or through others. I am because we have, just like my chairperson, you know, uh, alluded to this morning, that we that we that who are we without you? I hope you are hearing me.
Clearly, sir. We can hear you, sir.
All right, so okay, good. All right, so the word Ubuntu is actually telling us that as human beings, we take our relevance, our humanity from associating, from interacting with others. If you look at the understanding of that concept, like I said, is from South African Zulu phrase. It's talking about you know, a person takes its relevance from associating with others. So the word as a concept, you know, just like somebody mentioned earlier on, it shows humanity, it shows togetherness, it shows unity, it shows peace. In fact, from the beginning of time, African societies and other societies all over the world, they have been guided with this principle. You know, we may not call it Ubuntu maybe in Nigeria or in some other places, but in other societies, in other places, we have this core value guiding our humanity. All right. So having understood the concept of humanity, then we need to look at some of the values, what it represents, what are the values of Ubuntu. Ubuntu, I'll just mention one or two of them. Respect for others, social justice, morality, you know, solidarity, love, fulfillment. You know, put differently, what we are trying to say is that we are trying to preach that if the way you want to be, you have to do unto others the way you want others to do unto you. All right. So those are the values. I would like to say this, you know, just to buttress the point. I remember a particular movie where some set of physically challenged students were asked to run a race from one particular point to the other. And in the process, after the whistle had been blown, you know, they started running. And one of them now fell down. And before we knew what was happening, all of them, you know, even those who have gone far beyond the one that fell down, they started retreating. They started going back. And they went back and took that one falling down off, and they all walked to the finishing line. And the organizers were surprised that how come? Why did they do that? That is where that word came from. Togetherness. We have to do things together as a humanity. All right. Then, having understood the concept of humanity, I'll just look at some of the benefits. The benefits of Ubuntu in social work specifically. Even before I go into that, I want to say that the concept is beyond Africa. It's beyond Africa. Others are already using it. They're already making use of the concept, the word, to label something good, something excellent, in the world of men, in our human society. There is a software developer that I know who developed a computer program named Ubuntu. And he did that by bringing African philosophical spirit into the world of computers. And the reason why he developed that software was to make it free. Just like somebody said earlier on, sharing is caring. He wants it's a very free software that others can use, that others can make use of, and all of that. Now, specifically to social work profession, it is very, very useful. Looking at number one, the three major part of social work in social casework, where social workers are expected to work with individuals and their family members. If we don't have this Ubuntu spirit within you or within us, there's no way you can bring about social functioning in the life of your client or dysfunctional individual. What I'm trying to say here is that in social casework, Ubuntu has several tenets that support achievement of social casework. In gerontology, for example, within African setting, it is the responsibility of children to look after their elderly ones, the older one. So within social casework, we are talking about social workers working with individuals. Under social group work, we are talking about working with groups. Here, group process is a strategy to solve social problems. And in African setting or in any given human society, groups or grouping is a key feature. What binds groups together is the spirit of Ubuntu. So also in community work, just like somebody mentioned earlier on, in African setting, it takes a village. It takes the whole society to raise a child, beyond the parents. There are so many other things than the child. The children can learn from other members of the society. So Ubuntu here too has great relevance to working with communities. And there's this frequently cited story of a male employee working with a white employer who reportedly told his employer that he lost 4 fathers within the space of 1 year. For each funeral, the employee wanted financial assistance from his white employer. And because of this, there was considerable misunderstanding between the two, the employer and the employee. The employer was somehow confused and insisted that how can one have 4 fathers? The employee explained to his employer, that the first person that died, his first father, was one of his biological father's elder brother. The second one was one of his biological father's younger brother. The third one was his real biological father. And the last one was the husband of his mother's sister. The employer was amazed at the African extended family system. So what this story is trying to tell us that how beautiful, how excellent is the extended or community-based African system is. So it has relevance not only to the to social work profession, but to other different fields of endeavor. very, very useful. And like I said, today we are talking about Ubuntu. It's because some group of individuals are projecting their culture. They are projecting their culture. So it's important for us, wherever you may be, whether you are in Nigeria or India, or let us learn to speak our culture, speak our language, and even encourage our children to speak our language. Like in Yoruba land in Nigeria now, there is what we call Omoluwabi. This Ubuntu also means Agbajowo Lafin Soya. And I'm sure that just like in other cultural settings, villages, places, we have Ubuntu similarities, that we can use to show that with togetherness, we can do a lot of things together. Okay, let me just mention 3 lessons before I round up from Ubuntu. That with Ubuntu, less is more. Less is more, and it also means selflessness. Selflessness. That is what we do in social work. As a social worker, you have to be selfless. You have to put yourself in the condition of your client. It also means a call to action. Just like the IGR said the other time, we still have a lot of work to do in Nigeria, in Africa, to institutionalize and to make social work profession, recognized, so that we have a place in the society. And then in terms of criticism, looking at Ubuntu as African philosophical concept, it is not without its own criticism. A lot of scholars, what we do in academics now. We have 1 or 2 criticism I will just mention, that as good as Ubuntu African social thought is, it is claimed that it is not written down. It is mostly transmitted from one generation to another through storytelling. So there is need, just like what we have in Western and Eastern ideology, to have it well documented. Also, Ubuntu philosophy is associated, just like we have heard, with positive attribute. That's why we are using it as our theme this year. However, it is not well disseminated to people within some African societies. Consequently, some people do not know anything, or they know very little about its foundational concepts. All right, I would like to bring it to a close with this African saying that says that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far in life, go together with others. Thank you for your attention. And I want to say happy Social Work Day to every one of us. And on the last note, just like we are using Ubuntu as a very good concept, as an adjective today, I want you to ask yourself, are you an Ubuntu social worker? Thank you, and God bless you. Happy celebration.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olusegun Temilola, for that wonderful presentation. I believe others have been able to gain 2 or more, just like I've done here. Please help mute your mic, please. Okay, sorry for that. Dr. Temilola, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation.
You're welcome.
I believe others have gained as much as I have done. because I was able to jot down some things from your presentation. So we believe that definitely the criticism of Ubuntu, yes, it is being transmitted from one generation to others because of who we are as Africans. But I believe as social workers now, we start jotting down, we start writing it down so that others can see it, they can know the meaning, and they can work towards it. As I am, and I can boldly say I am an Ubuntu social worker. So I don't know about others, but I can speak for myself. So thank you very much. God bless you. So now it's question and answer. Please, you can use the the chat room for your questions. If you have any question, please, we have few minutes for that. If there are any questions, please raise your hand. Let's indicate we have just few minutes for question and answer. Dr. Temilola is here to answer our question. Please, let's throw them in.
Yeah, I would like to ask something. Hello,
okay.
Doctor. Yeah. So I'm joining from India. So I would like to know about the participation of the young generation in this community work, or you are also part of a college like University of, you're joining from University of Lagos. So you are teaching them. So I would like to know more about the participation of young generation in community work. Are they considering it just as a profession, or or they really want to make an impact? I would like to know more about the scenario there.
I didn't get that. Participation of
young generation, youth, participation of youth.
Okay, youth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, participation of youth generation. How they come into the equation is very simple, and that is through education, through awareness. We that are a little bit older than them now, we pass it on to them. For example, what we do within the university and even outside the university, we educate them. We give them more information about it. By the time they get more educated, it becomes part of them. It becomes a way of life. That's how we can get them involved. Just like one of the courses I also take. In fact, the president of the youth happened to be one of my 400 level students. I take a course on social work with you. So we have different methods that we use to get the youth, involved, so that they learn the values of the society, so that they can become important functional members of the society. So basically, education in different ways, different channels can actually get them involved. Thank you. From India, Ratin.
Me know nothing. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Kinde Samuel, please unmute yourself. Kinde Samuel. Kinde Samuel, please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, I've done that, ma. Hello, ma.
Okay, please, all right.
Yes, ma. Please, ma, I want to first of all appreciate the speaker. He has really do a critical analysis of that title, Ubuntu. But ma, where is I want the speaker to clear the air for me on this, ma. So social work as a profession has not yet been No, we have is a profession with multifunctions. So we have a lot to do in the society, and as a result of that, the society needs us. But the youth these days now are somehow discouraged, most especially someone like me. Even though I studied it as a profession at the University of Ibadan, but due to their functions and in the society, nothing to support them. There is no law that guided them. There is nothing to even, it's not the profession is supposed to be put aside on a special this is just like the medical doctors, but we are not seeing all this. So as a result of this, the youth may not really and besides, there is we have the job hazard too. So in this case, ma, how can you be our voice up there so that the profession will be more, not just to be made known, but a kind of reward. The social workers to have their own family. So in this case, sir, how can you really help us? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Candy Samuel from
Babcock University, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that's all, sir.
We can hear you. Okay.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Please, you can
from
put
UI,
your
right?
hand. You can
Okay.
put down your hand.
Like what we are. Okay, what I'm just trying to say, just like the
network is not.
I guess we're having network problem.
Yes. Yes.
So I think we will attend to the question.
We are doing it right now, helping profession. I hope you are hearing me.
Sir, there's a network issue. We couldn't get everything that you said, sir. Can you please come again?
All right, let me repeat myself.
Okay.
That's Oyelakin, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. What I'm trying to say is that his question is more or less like the one coming from my colleague from India, that how do we get youth to be involved? Then how do we make the profession, selling, rewarding, noble one, in the society? And I said that with the example of what we are doing now, like we had a meeting.
Network.
The departmental meeting yesterday, a blended one. I want to carry the youth along, go on media, radio, newspaper, talk about what others are doing in other places, at our level, from our society, from our school. Let's tell them what social workers can do, what they are doing, so that they will get interested, they will get, involved into it. For example, in Lagos, I'm sure Toby and others can bear me witness, most of our graduates now who are working with NGOs where they did their practicums, they are really, before they even finish their diploma program or degree program, they're already earning some income, supporting themselves. So you cannot tell me that having gotten that kind of taste, and by the time they now finish, I have about 3 of them that have successfully set up their own NGOs in one area or the other, child protection, prostitution, and all of that, still under social work. And they are working with other bigger international bodies. So by so doing, to answer your question directly, we get them involved first with awareness and education. Just like sociology is my first degree. I have a PhD in sociology, and I have a master's in social work too. So by the time you get to know, knowing comes first, then you build the interest in them. By the time they see it, they become more interested. And let me even openly confess that this association of national social workers in Lagos, for example, even solidify my interest to cross from being a sociology now to a social worker. Sociology is more or less a theory, while social work is a practical expression of sociology. So it's a very rewarding, helping profession anywhere in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Temilola. I think you've been able to throw more light into that advocacy is key. We should be able to let people know what we do, tell them who we are, and let them see the expression of what we do with humanity. So thank you so much, Dr. Temilola. We have another hand raised up. We have Omololaini Adedeji. Please, can you be very brief and go straight to your question, please?
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And good afternoon, Dr. Temilola. My question is that, yes, we know that the Ubuntu philosophy promotes a collective approach, like everybody coming together, helping out and all of that. But we find ourselves in this present world now, or in current times now, we are being driven towards this individualistic approach where everybody is just me, myself, my family, and all of that. So how can we be able to revive this Ubuntu culture in this present time amidst all the challenges that we are having in the present world? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thanks for your question. Okay, just as we know that the nature of the work of social workers, like somebody mentioned, it's a interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary discipline. How we can do that, it's through the power of technology. Through the power of technology, we can bring people together. Is it to administer health? Is it to do assessments or what have you? We can do some aspects of the work with technology and back it up with maybe minimal physical approach to it. So technology is just like what we are doing now. Usually it's supposed to be a physical meeting, but thank God for Ubuntu Zoom medium. Now we can talk to ourselves even across the continent. So technology is there to help us to build on the togetherness, the bonding of it. All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do we still have anyone with question? Okay, then I think we can move to the next agenda, to the next item on the agenda. Thank you, Dr. Olusegun Temilola. We are most grateful.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, so we can move to the next speaker. We have the pleasure of Mrs. Ronke Oyelapin to present the profile of Mrs. Nino Ratin from Indian Social Talk Town. Mrs. Nino Ratin, you're welcome on board.
Thank you. So am I audible to everyone?
Hold on, please. I want to read your profile. A minute, please. Okay. So Mrs. Ninoratin is an entrepreneur, a consultant, and social catalyst, a compelling social innovator. Ninoratin has been working in the community building and non-profit sector since 2013, with degree in electronics and communications engineering and strong project management skills. Nino brings with her analytical bent of mind and a spirit to create impactful programs for social change. Ninuratin has specializations in various streams, including embedded systems designing, marketing and financial management, and executive management development program in project management from Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. The social town is currently incubated at NSRCEL, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. Nino had always aimed to start a non-profit organization, and that became a reality in October 2020 when she founded the Social Town Foundation, registered as a Section 8 company. The Social Town is a virtual platform that provides a collaborative space for ideators, mentors, NGOs, volunteers, social startups, and the various CSR initiatives of companies. The Social Town was born out of a desire to combine various impactful programs and social innovation to usher in a new way of living and doing. Thank you. Now we can have you on here now, Mrs. Nino Ratin.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a very happy Social Workers Day, and I'm so proud to be here connected to all social workers in a very different continent. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and this is actually a learning experience for me. So let me begin with telling a bit about me, my journey towards a social town, because it will not incomplete without that particular bit. So yeah, I don't have any degree in professional degree in social work. So I am basically an engineer, and I started my career as a lecturer in an engineering college. I was teaching engineering, electronics and communication engineering. Then I got married and I moved to some other place, and I had to quit my job for my family. But in between, I was doing a lot of courses, including embedded system designing, and I have masters in business administration, specializations in marketing and finance. But I was mostly a homemaker. I didn't get opportunity to interact with communities, or I was not contributing towards our community. So I was very loud and active girl. I always wanted to do something, but I don't know where to go, and I didn't know where to go and what to do. Then in 2013, I started volunteering with an organization in Kerala. I live in India. So I realized that okay, this is my space and I wanted to do something here. But as I told you, I didn't have any exposure in the social development sector. I didn't know where to go and what to do. So as an engineer, I thought, okay, let me create a platform for people like me to connect with other community builders and social change makers so that I can work with them and learn through the process. But due to the lack of experience, I didn't do that at that particular at that particular time, and I got some more time to learn the process, and luckily I got opportunity to work with different organizations, and I was part of different campaigns and projects. So that gave me immense confidence to contribute towards or be part of the social work community. So my last job role was as a project consultant for an organization, and I worked with marginalized communities in Kerala, and I learned a lot. So apart from my educational qualifications, I learned a lot through the process of volunteering and working with the community. And that gave me the confidence to start something like the social done for people like me. So I'm from a different background. As I told you, I don't have any degree. So, and I have to say sorry to everyone that this is not a written speech. So I'm speaking from my heart, and you are free to ask any questions and you can interrupt me. I'm just here to converse with you all. So this is a learning opportunity, and I'm sharing my experience and thoughts on this particular theme. So, and you're welcome to ask any questions, or if you're not able to follow my story or whatever I'm speaking, you can interrupt me. Okay. So when COVID hit, all of us know that, NGOs or non-profit organizations are always struggling to make some kind of impact in the society because they lack resources. In India, I'm coming from India, and in India, there are 31 lakh NGOs and 2 million social enterprises. Can you believe that? That means every 400% there is an NGO. If that organization is competent enough to make a change, what would have been the status of India now? Still, we are facing a lot of problems, right? Like any other part of the world, we also have a lot of issues we are fighting with. Still, that problems are not solved because irrespective of all these huge numbers of organizations. So I wanted to utilize the all the resources available for the social change to create more impactful programs. That's why I started the social town. The idea of the social town is to bring anyone who would like to take part in the community development together and offering them all the tools and resources to co-create an impact. What I meant by all the tools and resources is, I'm not talking about big funds. We always think that we need a lot of funds or money to create something or do something. But I believe that with just funds we cannot do anything. I believe in human capabilities. So I want to use technology to leverage the human capital to create impact. As I told, most of the organizations, due to lack of the resources, they are struggling. I think this is the same in any organization. So I wanted to use the capabilities of human beings to change the world. So when they come together, so I told you, human beings have a lot of, their capabilities are immense. They are not identifying that. They don't know the purpose of living. So any other thing, you don't need to be a social work. You don't need to have a degree in social work to contribute towards your society or community development, right? So if you are an engineer, so you can help to solve a problem using that engineering skill, a social problem. If you're a management expert, you can use your management skill to set a process for a social project. If you have a good project management ability, you can use that ability or skill in the social sector, so which will help you to do whatever you do in the community development in a much better way. So I wanted to do that. I want to bring in all kind of people to my platform, that they can contribute anything. So I would like to invite an artist. So if an artist is good at, they can do good pictures. If they can convey a message to a child about child abuse or whatever, or they can, even draw something about domestic violence, that will reach to more people, right? So picture says a lot of, even more than a word, a picture says a lot. So I invite everyone who would like to contribute with their skills towards the social sector. This is my idea of the social town. And when it comes to the, as everyone told, I am also more focusing on the young generations. For the economic development of a country, I believe that if we can improve the human capability, if we can invest in human beings, that will definitely help us for the economic empowerment of the country. We are actually, I always think that I was a very loud and active girl in college during my college time, but I was mostly focused on different activities because there was no one to guide me, no one to channelize my energy for anything good. Only when I started volunteering, I realized that, okay, oh my God, I can do anything to a society. Now I'm blessed with everything. I'm blessed with every comforts of life. So I know that I wanted to do something. But if I knew the same 12 years before, I would have been able to contribute a lot more to a society. So I wanted to advocate this. I want to empower you. I want them to realize the purpose of life. And I want to encourage more women to take part in the community development process. Women are blessed with a lot of skills. As a woman, I'm a mother, I have a kid, so I'm managing my family. I'm maintaining a social network. I'm connecting with a lot of people across the globe, and I'm running an organization. This ability I got only because I'm a woman. Multitasking is a skill which we are born with multitasking skills. So I want to utilize that power in women and the energy of the youth for the empowerment of the society. So I would like to start social town clubs in everywhere, any colleges or institutions, so that I can give them leadership and capability building training, and I can connect with the different organizations or community level projects, so they can identify their strength and they can learn about each other. And in the process of learning, if they can identify a problem in the society, and if I can inculcate them with entrepreneurial skills, they can be social entrepreneurs. So I want have more social entrepreneurs. So we are learning about a lot of charity organizations. The problem with the charity organizations is most of the time we are sustaining with donations. But when the COVID hit or any other such tragedies, there will be a change in the donations. I mean, we will not receive the amount we really need. So I wanted most of the organization to be sustainable. So I wanted to promote non-profit entrepreneurship rather than going with begging bowls or donations. If our organizations can sustain themselves, that will be a great idea. So I would like to use these pillars to strengthen our economy and the social development. So one is youth, one is women, and the other one is the entrepreneurship. So I want to be an advocate of volunteering, and so more youth can come forward and contribute towards the society, so they can realize their purpose of life. They can be an engineer, they can be a manager, or whatever. So whatever, wherever they go, they can carry a little empathy or compassion towards fellow beings. They can contribute towards society. So I want to develop the social town as a networking place, come marketplace for the social development sector, where you can find and connect with like-minded people. So, so I'm coming from India, and we are discussing about Ubuntu here. What a beautiful concept, right? So even the speakers before me described about the Ubuntu and the concept of global village and everything. So in India also we said Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. That Vasudha means earth, and Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam means world is one family. So we are learning it from childhood. So there is no boundary, and the technology is helping us a lot. Thanks to technology that I'm sitting here in Kerala, India, and I'm talking to you people, and that's great. That's the technology. So this is possible now. So even we can sit in a different part of the world, but we can connect each other. We can learn about each other. Because as human beings, most of the problems we suffer are the same. Our basic needs are the same. Our emotions are the same. And all of us want to live in a free and happy society, and with basic needs and with basic comforts for everyone around us, right? So there are some basic things which we can share. So when I talked to Olabisi, and I think for the first time, she invited me for this talk, and I can really relate to her. And I told her, why don't we have a social town in Nigeria at your place? Because I can learn about it. There is a lot of, I can give you also, we can bring in a lot of speakers from different parts of the world. We can discuss about different projects and initiatives. In the process, we are learning that we can create an inspiration space for the social workers. And across the globe, we have people with different capacities and different capabilities. If we can exchange that resources, that human capability, and I think that will make an impact for sure. That's why I started. I don't want to develop a mere technology platform. I don't want another Facebook or LinkedIn. I also wanted human connections happen through that platform. That's why I started the Social Town Talk series, wherein I bring people from different parts of the world to share their stories. Why I wanted to share that? I don't want them to look into a scripted speech. I wanted them to share. I want them to share their stories and their journeys, so that along the way they can inspire a lot of people. And I want, so in the first talk series itself, I've invited someone from New York, and there is one speaker from India also. And after the talk series, that speaker started using a video, an awareness video created in India for teaching child abuse in New York. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So we don't need the whole, we don't need to invest in creating another video or another resource to educate or to spread awareness. So it costs nothing, but that, combination worked really well. So if we can come together, I mean, the social entrepreneurs or anyone who would like to contribute towards community development together and exchange resources, whatever, even we can be micro volunteers. We think that, okay, as an engineer, I don't have time. I'm a doctor, I don't have time. But you don't need to invest a lot of time. You can even do a very little thing. You can just share an information. As a doctor, you can just share an information that may save a life. Once in a while, you can donate your blood. That's also very, at least you can smile at someone else. That may make their day very special, right? So, maybe you are a software developer. You can develop a website for an organization or anyone. So you are a designer. You can create an awareness poster. It will go. Any contribution matters. So I want such very innovative and modern skills. I want to see the passion in young people to do something more than just living. I want them to be compassionate, empathetic, and also I want them to learn about the current skills they needed. As we all know, there's a VUCA period. We know about COVID hit. We know that everything is uncertain. Everything is uncertain, and we had a massive flood in Kerala in 2018 and 2019. Everything. So even with money, we can't do anything at that particular time. So all we need is humanity, a little compassion to our fellow beings. So we can be a social worker. We can create an impact with that. So I believe in that. As I told you, I don't have any professional experience. And due to my family circumstances, I was always working virtual. But I use my skills, project management or whatever virtual skills to create an impact. I've touched with last year for a fisherman community in India, we have insured 13,000 people. I think I went out for at least just for 2-3 times only. I was working, sitting at my home and doing that. That is possible because of technology now. So we have opportunities now. We have different options now. All we have to do is to utilize them for the betterment of our society. So let's inspire our young generation, make them involved in the process of community building. Let's learn about each other. So from apart from our boundaries or culture, let's reach out to others and let's learn and exchange resources, and let's maintain a good rapport, and so that a lot of things can do together is always more. So I would like to end with another philosophy or mantra which we use in India, that is Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. That means everyone in the world be free and happy, and that's what we want. Thank you all for inviting me, and a very happy Social Workers Day. I think I was audible and made sense. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Ninu Ratin. Thank you for that speech. Though you didn't prepare one, but it came in loaded. Thank you very much. So we have Ronke.
So I have a question from, I think, are you saying one does need a certificate to be contributing to one society? How we then get recognition in Nigeria, for example? So I was telling that we don't need a certificate to be a social worker. I was telling them because I don't have any academic degree in social work or social development sector, but I am working with people. I think I'm connected to more than 500 stakeholders in the social development sector, but I don't have a social work degree or social development sector degree. As I told you, I'm an engineer specialized in marketing and embedded system designing and project management. And my startup, the Social Town, is currently incubated at in one of the premier institutes in India, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. We don't need a degree in social work. All we need to have is passion, a lot of energy, and enthusiasm to do something. And most of the people think that it's not a very colorful career. But I had a lot of fun during volunteering or contributing to the society. So I think we should enjoy what we are doing. So, and let's celebrate what we are doing. Thank you. Yeah, I can understand that, Dr. Timilola. Yes, every space, but at least if we have passion, we can do something. It is better than doing nothing, right? Sitting and doing nothing.
Okay.
So I'm inviting everyone to join the social town. Let's connect with more people globally and let's learn about them and let's create an inspirational space. Together is more. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so very much. We have a hand raised up. I think there's a question for you. Mr. Mike Shonobi, please have the floor.
Hello, Mike.
Thank you very much, Lenny.
Hi.
Thanks for the talk. It's appreciated. I hope everybody's hearing me. I hope everybody's hearing me. Yeah, thanks for the talk.
Thank you so much.
Like it's been said, and we have said it several times, and I'm going to say it here, and I'm sure some on this forum will also agree with me. It's good to have a passion. It's good to be excited. It's good to have that ginger. But social work is a profession. Once you have passion to do something similar to social work, like just as you told us, you have volunteered in many areas. Volunteerism is just one of the aspects of social work practice. And if you volunteer, yeah, it's good. Social workers also like volunteers, and it's good to have that passion. But it still remains that anyone wants to call himself or herself a social worker, you need to go and learn it as a profession. Because social work, it has its own methodologies. It has the skills that are needed, and they have their own tools that are used in social work. And it's not common for everybody. Nobody is going to tell you everything. Nobody's going to teach you about the skills or the methodologies that is being applied in social work. So for me, if you want to be a social worker, it's good you can be a social worker, but you must go and undergo the training of a social worker so that you can call yourself a social worker. Passion is different from being empowered with the skills to do something. Like I said, we appreciate your delivery, and we want to thank you for what you have said. I just want to stop at that for now.
Yeah, I always prefer to have interactive conversations like this. Thank you for raising this question. Actually, I want to clarify that, I didn't mean that we don't need degrees, but to contribute towards the society, I meant what I meant. Not an obstacle to take part in the community development. So being an engineer, or I'm utilizing my skills to bring or empower social workers so they can contribute more. I'm acting as a catalyst. So I'm, I can support you. I can provide assistance in creating a social impact. So I mean, anyone who is interested, I mean, anyone can, do their bit for the social order. It's not just a responsibility of social worker, or you don't need any academic degree. I didn't mean that, actually we have a learning platform only to, cater towards the social development sector. We are building a platform that is SLATE. SLATE is Social Learning Academy for Transformation and Empowerment, which we would like to teach this kind of methodologies and tools to create measurable impact. So that is very, very important, Mike. I didn't mean that, we don't, but to touch other person's life. So as human beings, our emotions are the same, and we want, a happy and free and secure life for our fellow beings. So for that, we don't need any degrees. That basic compassion or empathy or that passion to do something is very, very. That's what maybe after completing MSW courses, I have worked with interns completing the MSW courses, but if they lack that passion or if they don't with just a degree, they cannot do anything. Even if they know all the technology or whatever, if they don't have that passion to touch the lives, then what is the purpose of having that? And what I meant is, along with the degree, we should make celebrate this. I mean, what we are doing, more people take part in this outside our profession also.
Okay. Thank you very much, Minu. Thank you very much. Okay, if you have any question, please quickly make do of the chat box, or you can quickly unmute yourself and ask your question briefly while we call on the next speaker. Please quickly raise up your hand if you have a question, or you make use of the chat box for us to quickly attend to that before she goes, while we have the next speaker coming up shortly. Do we have any question for Nenu?
No, I think Professor Fateh, and yeah, volunteering as a nurse or a doctor will not make you a doctor or a, don't, I think there's a lot of confusion.
Okay, in the absence of no question, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. It was very, very informative, and I'm sure we've been able to learn one of these things. Okay, somebody wants to talk. Odukoya Oluwabumi, please, you can have the floor. Briefly, please.
And I would like to add one thing.
I guess it's network. We can't hear her.
I think there are around 10, even I, done a little research.
Okay, please have the floor. Odukoya Oluwabumi, you can have the floor, please. Okay, let's proceed. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I would like to call on the next speaker, and I will read his profile. If you still have any questions for Nenu, please put in the chat box. And if you have any question for Dr. Temilola, you can still put in the chat box. While I call on our next speaker, Mr. Viovonu Folorunsho J. He's an Assistant Director of Social Welfare. He's the Head of Research and Development at the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. He has spent over 2 decades with vast experience in different sectors of social services in the ministry. At different times, he has worked in family social services, medical social services, research and development. He is also a serving family court assessor at Badagry Court. Let's welcome Mr. Viovonu Folorunsho as he takes on the next session while we are celebrating World Social Work Day, Ubuntu. Thank you very much. Let's have Mr. Folorunsho. Thank you so much. Mr. Folorunsho, I don't think we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
can
yes,
you hear me
we
now?
can now.
All
yes,
right.
sir. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here with you. And I want to pray that for those of us that have been spared to witness this year's celebration will be around for so many more years in Jesus' name. I've been asked to talk on social work practice in care homes in Lagos State. My talk will center around children care home, because we know that care home can also extend to adults, the elderly, and all of that. But because the bulk of care homes we have in Lagos State are for children, so I'm focusing on children care homes. And if you look at the first 2 slides of my presentation, it's all about definition of terms, what is social work, and then different areas social workers can find themselves useful, and then social work practice. Are you going to zoom that for me so I can see clearly, or you want me to use the one I have on my phone here? Hello? Hello?
Use the one on your phone to be faster. Use the one on your phone, sir. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. So let me navigate quickly. Now, I'm not going to bother laying emphasis on definitions as such, because I know that 90% of those who have keyed into this program, they are professional social workers, so they know what the definition is about. But let me emphasize that for social workers who are working in care homes, the summary of the experience normally should include writing the children's progress reports for court, family tracing and family reunification. And because not every child in care home is an orphan, that also means that we have children who have surviving parents, and that also means that in working with such children, we need to know the reason why they are not with their family. And then part of what we need to do at that level is to also start thinking about how we can reconstruct the family, so to say. I'm sorry, I'm trying to open my phone here. Now let me move to the next slide, talking about children. Can we mute? Oh, I can't locate.
Please, let's mute our mics, please. Please.
Please, you have to help me with my slide from your end, please.
Okay, noted, sir. Mr. Olowo is on that. He's actually trying to put that on. Please, let's mute our mics. If you want to talk, please raise your hand or put in the chat box your message, and it will be read later on. Thank you so much. So sorry, Mr. Folonsho, please.
It's all right.
Please just give me a few minutes. I'm having an issue with my network.
It's all right. I'm also trying to do the same here. Now let's go to
let's make him a co-host, if that would help for you to share directly from your side. Mr. Olowo, kindly make him a co-host. If he can share his screen from his own side, I think that will be faster.
Okay, I'm with my material now, so let's go on. I've tried to share with us the functions and responsibilities of social workers in care homes, and having said that, let me just also reference some of the stuff that I sent to you yesterday as part of the functions of social workers. But what I have on the slide is not actually the entirety of what is expected of social worker in a care home, but part of them are psychosocial assessments, counseling, advocacy, education, then administrative work, which is case file management. Let me also say at this point that as far as children care home is concerned, we have two categories of social workers: those that are in the home, and then those that I will refer to as the case managers. These are the social workers from the mainstream ministry. Okay, so when I say case manager, you know who I'm talking about. Now, how do care homes operate in the state? What empowers them to operate in the state? Now, let me say that it is not enough for individual home operator to have their CAC, that is Corporate Affairs Commission certificate, because a lot of people think that the moment they register with Corporate Affairs Commission, that is just all. The ball game is different in Lagos State. After you have registered with CAC, you are expected, if you must operate in Lagos State, you are expected to send in your application for registration to the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. And right there, we're going to give you the list of requirements and the operational guidelines. But let me also stress that this task or this mandate by the ministry can actually be found in at section 181 of Lagos State Child Rights Law of Lagos State, where the commissioner, the honorable commissioner, is empowered to register homes and to also establish any kind of home as the circumstance may demand. So for the slide talk on registration of care homes, you see that we mentioned provision of section 181 and then requirement for registration and then the operational guidelines. If you are not, if you have not satisfied the requirement for registration, nobody will register you irrespective of your CAC certificate and what have you. Then the next slide talked about trends of various registered private care homes in Lagos State. If you look at that slide, the majority, the bulk of homes that we have are the orphanages, and the chart there indicates that we have over 50 orphanages in the state. And then another type of care home that we have, that one focuses on special children homes. We have very few of them. And then you have elderly care homes. And then lastly, you have rehabilitation homes. Now, the rehab homes here, we categorize them as rehab based on the ultimate goal or the output, not the regular rehab homes that will really come to your mind. We are not talking about the drug dependence here, although it's part of what we do. But then when you look at the number of rehabilitation homes, we are also talking about children's home, where the goal is to rehabilitate the children that come into such care. So that's why you are having about 14 of them. And for government-owned care homes, we have just 3 that we refer to as an orphanage owned by the government. And then the government also has a special children home, just one, which you all know, K2 Special Children Home. Now, those are the numbers of care homes that we have in Lagos State. And then the next slide, we are talking, I've deliberately brought about the child rights into my discussion, not because we don't know what children's rights are, but I don't want us to get carried away thinking that all these rights are preserved. Are we together? Hello?
Yes, we are hearing you, sir.
Okay, so I have deliberately brought the child rights into this presentation, not because we don't know what their rights are, but to actually ask ourselves if any of these rights have never been violated at one time or the other. Now, right of survival, right to name. Now, every child, or for the children who are in our care home with that name, means that the head of that facility must give a name to that child for purpose of identity. But we have also seen instances where names of children are single-handedly changed by the head of homes without recourse, either to the family court or to the ministry. Now, why I mean not why I have not, or let me say that I have not cited any page or any section of the law that says that you cannot change the name. But then we in the ministry have it as administrative rule that you cannot change the name of a child without recourse to relevant authorities, because the moment you change the name of a child, you are altering the identity of that child, and then it actually may be difficult to locate the surviving parents or relations of that child. Then you look at the right to private home and family life. That should be the first thing that comes to our mind when a child is placed in our care. How do we reintegrate that child back to society? How do we reunite him or her with the family? Because, like the saying goes, care home should always be the last resort. It shouldn't be the first consideration when you are dealing with children who are not with their parents for whatever reason. So right to private home and family life is so important that we cannot continually keep children in care home, because at the end of the day, it will amount to institutionalization of such children. Right to freedom of, please, can we mute? Right to freedom from discrimination, right to freedom of movement. Now, if you look at the right to freedom from discrimination, and I want to relate this to our adoption practice. Now, usually when applicants have scaled through the different hurdles in the adoption process, and they are given approval letter to start for children in the registered homes, usually you will not find home for children with special needs on such list. And for me, that is the discrimination by the service provider. What would be your reason why you will not include homes that take children with special needs into your adoption list? Because it's not everybody that comes for adoption that has not been blessed with children or child of their.
Hello, we can't hear you, Mr. Biagono.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello. Please, you have to take that again. We have to take that again. We didn't hear you.
Okay. On right to discrimination, right to freedom from discrimination. I was saying that when you look at our adoption practice, care homes that take care of children with special needs, you don't have their names on the list given to prospective adopters who are authorized to go from one home to another in search of the child or children they will adopt. So by not including such homes on the list, to me, amounts to discrimination for those children in such homes. And I hope my colleagues who are in adoption office are listening to this. Every child should be given a level playing ground. You don't exclude certain category of children because of their condition or because of the homes they have found themselves. Let the adopter decide for themselves that, okay, I don't want this child because of his or her condition. But when you deliberately not include such homes on the list given to adopters who are in search of children, then it amounts to discrimination. That's what I have said. If you missed out, right of a child in need of special protection measures. Now, let me say that these are the rights of children in our care homes, but hardly will you find anybody reporting that abuse took place yesterday or the day before. And you want to ask yourself, are we saying that at no point in time, none of these children's rights were violated, or what? Are we so perfect? Are we so perfect in what we are doing in our care homes? It's a poster for everybody, for those who are working in such homes, to search their own conscience. Because when you go back to the Convention of UN on orphanages, that was December 2018, if I'm correct, you know, the NGO who advocated, the NGO behind the advocacy for eradication of orphanages consists of people who at one time or the other in their life, you know, they were in care homes, and they knew that a lot of abuses go on in care homes. But as the case may be, it's like we are so perfect in this part of the world, and we are not getting any report of abuse from such homes. So, but I have brought this one to our reminder so that everyone providing one service or the other in our care homes can actually search their conscience if truly all these rights are being observed and not violated. Okay, so let me go to the next of children in care homes. We cannot talk about social work practice in care homes without talking about placement of children, because we need to talk about how the children get to the home in the first place. Now, who plays, or which unit places these children in care homes? As of today, the Child Protection Unit, a unit in Child Development Department of Ministry of Youth and Social Development, is responsible for placement of children. But prior to Child Protection Unit taking over this responsibility, the placement of children had always been by the police, Alakara and Adeniji Adeli. And I know, because I know that at one time, I maybe one or two occasions, I took some children to Alakara. That's prior to the time Child Protection took over the placement of children. And there were all kinds of complaints in terms of fairness, in terms of criteria. Okay, the same questions, as far as I'm concerned, are still coming up, even with Child Protection Unit taking over this responsibility. What informs the placement of a particular child in home A and not home B? And because we have both government and private care homes, the placement, is it fair to private care homes, or how is it done? Are we fair? Are we transparent in this activity? And then when you place these children in care homes, of course, there is a legal instrument that is expected that every child will have, either on the day you are being placed or immediately after you are placed, talking about care order. The whole practice, as far as care order is concerned, is that we have some children in our care homes who have been there for like a year or more without care order, and you begin to ask yourself, who is not doing what? Why is that person not doing what is expected of him or her? And then I'm sorry. Then
Okay.
we have also observed that some children came in at a very tender age. We have children who came in at age 2 or age 3, and there's a particular case in question. I won't mention the home. That child came into the home at age 2 weeks, and today that individual has become an adult in that home. He attends a private university, and then you want to ask yourself, why did we allow that child who came into care at a Jewish becoming an adult, even though this is a guy that was born in the prison. The mother gave birth to him in prison, and in less than a month or thereabout, the mother died, and both maternal and paternal relations could not. I don't know whether they did their job or not, but this guy is now an adult in the home. And then when you look at the fact that the one of the provisions of the child rights law talks about time limit of care order, you want to ask, what happened? Who failed to carry out his or her responsibility, and in the process allow this person to become an adult in our home? All his life, he doesn't know any other thing apart from life in the care home. And for me, this is not appropriate, even though we have relevant section of the law that kick against this kind of practice. There is a time limit to care order. So what happened? Who kept approving the care order? Who kept approving the application for extension of care order? Is the matter that I think should be a concern to everybody. And then because I'm going to rush because I know questions will be asked and all of that. Now, the next slides talk about categories of children in care homes. Normally, when you move from either government home to private home, the most common categories of children you're going to find in our homes include the children that are abandoned, children that are neglected, children that were lost but found, children in need of shelter, street children, children with special needs, abused children, trafficked children, and then there's another one, children from closed orphanage. Now, as part of our supervision responsibility, we go around the town, the state, and we will come across homes that are not properly registered. Of course, the practice is to move those children from such homes to the registered one. But the fact also is that after we have rescued these children and placed them in registered homes, we stop there. Some of these children have spent 3 years, 4 years, 5 years after they were rescued. And then you want to ask yourself, what was the essence of rescuing them? What was the essence of removing them from the home that we said were not registered? Okay, we have registered homes, we have authority whose responsibility is to regulate this sector. Yet, children spending so many years on. We're going to be addressing all of that maybe in our question and answer session. And then the next slide talks about concern in social work practice in our care homes. And I guess this is area that we're going to be spending a lot of time. I've tried to rush over so that we can get to this point because I know that I'm going to be talking about sensitive things. Now, concern in social work practice in our care homes. The first one, and which has also come up in the earlier presentation, is who should be a social worker or who should be addressed as a social worker. So the first point under that heading is qualification and remuneration of social workers. Now, I remember when 11 years ago, when I was to be promoted to the grade level 13, I was asked a question by the panel. The question was that is social work a profession? And I had to ask the panel to kind of rephrase that question because it was too loose. Because for me, social work is a profession, but in Nigeria, is it or was it a profession? I know that in Canada, social work is a profession. If you go to US, it is. But in Nigeria, is social work a profession? And I've had to be challenged times that number. And I'm going to mention names, but the person is a lecturer from one of our higher institutions. And now let me say this. My first degree is in political science. And when I came into service or let me say this, I applied as a social welfare officer without actually knowing what social welfare officer was all about in 1992. But then I didn't get that job the year 2001. The same application I submitted in 1992 was the same application considered in 2001. And then that promotion exercise 11 years ago, my permanent secretary was, the moment he saw me working, he said, look, what are you doing in my ministry? And I said, I don't understand. He said, your file before me indicate that you study political science. And I said, yes, I don't need a reminder for that. So you're not supposed to be in my ministry. But I replied, I said, there was an offer of unemployment just as there was acceptance of sin. We have a body responsible for employment, discipline, and dismissal of staff that is found wanting. And that authority is the Civil Service Commission. And the next thing, he called the attention of everybody in that room that, can you see what you are doing and all of that? And I answered him, I said, having carefully read my civil service rule, that I have not come across a rule that says that I must further my education in a particular field to be recognized. And that was how the matter came to an end. But he said one thing. He said, my concern is that I don't want a time to come and they will place a junior ahead of you because he is better qualified than you are. And I told him, I said, when we get to the bridge, we shall cross it. Now, the truth is that today, I have a master's degree in social work from Lagos University. But the question also is, has that improved me as an individual who is into social work practice? Because degree is one thing, the practical experience is another. For those of us in the mainstream, you will find all kinds of degrees holders who have risen through the ranks to become a director. And then you will also see a lot of people or social colleagues with either BSc, MSc in social work. And then they actually cannot do what is expected of them because they have not been exposed to the practicality of social work. We'll come to that again, but I will summarize it. But the point I'm trying to make is that as part of our requirement for registration of care homes in Lagos State, the organization that's seeking for registration must have a social worker. Is a condition that must be satisfied if you must be registered. So we recognize that it is important to have a BSc or MSc or diploma in social work. And if you go to our homes today, most of the homes I want to say that they have social workers. But then let me also say this, that at the point of registration, a lot of these homes will present people with a degree or diploma in social work. And then the moment they get their registration, because they cannot cope in terms of remuneration, within a short period of time, the social worker has left his or her seat in that home. I hope I'm communicating. Hello?
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 Are we
Continue,
together,
sir. We
please?
can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So even when you go to some of our homes today, you will meet people who are not certificated, so to say. And then the job is moving on because they are close. I have friends who have experience, who have practical experience in social work. They are always tapping into their knowledge and all of that. But the point I'm trying to make is that fine, we have social workers in many of our homes today who are certificated, who are degree holder in social work, but then because of the poor remuneration of this job, they are not performing optimally. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And that is why they are changing jobs constantly. And then you also have social workers in our homes being saddled with all kind of responsibilities that are outside of their primary job. And for me, this is not the best practice. I want to see a social worker employed performing social work practice, just as when you engage a medical doctor in a private hospital or a public hospital, he or she is performing what is expected of him or her. That is the standard I want to see. Then weak synergy between case managers and social workers in private employment. I may not understand that when anytime I use the word case manager, I'm referring to the social workers from the main ministry. Now, the social workers from the mainstream, of course, depending on your grade level, there are dues attached to each grade level. So we are constantly being exposed to different job schedule, unlike the social workers in the private care homes. The same thing they do all the time. And going by the provisions of the law, when you read the child rights law very well, you come across terms like appropriate authority, appropriate officer, meaning that certain jobs concerning the children in our care can only be undertaken by social workers working with the state government. And then when you go to court, this also reflects constantly. Social workers in private practice in our care homes, usually when they come to court, they are to be seen and not heard. But I'm not happy about this. I want to believe that in the nearest future, this issue can be addressed, because I can't be a professional and then I come to court and then I don't have so much to say, so much to contribute other than your home report that you bring. And I also want to say that even these home report most of the time are not taken, they are not factored into the final report that goes to the court. The home report sometimes are not factored into the final report that goes to court because of the weak synergy between the care managers and their counterparts in the private care homes. And sometimes when you look at the attitude, is it's like a master-servant relationship. And then this scenario does not augur well for the children in our care. So I want to see that synergy improved. And I want to see final report going to court accommodating the home report prepared by the social worker in private care home, because they are closer to the children. They know more about the children than we do, we coming from outside. The social worker in the private care home see these children every day on a daily basis, and there are stuff they do with these children that we don't, there are information that they have that we don't have. And that is the reason why it is important for any case manager to always consult with his or her counterpart, so that whatsoever we are doing will amount to the best interest of the children in the care home. And then I also talk about little support as part of the concerns in our care home, little support from the government. When you look at the slide, or when you look at the information I shared with you a while ago about the number of private care homes in comparison to government care homes. Government care homes, including the Special Children's Center, K2 Special Children's Home rather, just 4. And then by the time you add the orphanages and then the other set of care homes for stray children, special children, you will discover that the bulk of homes looking after the children are privately owned. They are privately owned. And that also translates into the fact that private care homes provide care more for children than government homes. And then for their maintenance and other daily requirements, what is the role of the government in this? Now, from time to time, when there's need to change school from private to public, the ministry help. And then of recent, the children in private care homes too have been enrolled into Lagos State Health Insurance Scheme. As far as I know, these are the support coming from government to the private care homes. But it goes beyond that. What about feeding? What about clothing? Because don't forget that I also talk about placement of children. The government places these children into the homes. So is it sufficient to just place children and turn your back to them? As a father, as a parent, I'm blessed with 3 children, and I know what it is to feed, to clothe, and to make sure that they are well educated. So why would government place children in care homes and not do more than assisting in terms of education and the recent health insurance scheme? And I also remember that when we were to go on lockdown last year, I made an attempt to make sure that we don't go on lockdown without the government doing anything for the children. But what response did I get for my effort? That effort was not welcomed by a lot of people. And when you try to discuss these issues, some will tell you that nobody invited them. They said they were called by God, that they have passion and all of that. If I come to you to register a home on the basis that I said God called me, that I have passion, does that mean that I should not receive support? We know how much it costs to feed 2 or 3 children. Now, not to talk about a home having 40 children, 30 as the case may be, and then they are not regularly supported. There is not a standard support that we can make reference to. So this is another concern for me, and which I want us to look at. Some of these children are adoptable at the end of the day. And then part of the condition we give when we consider them for approval is that children should be released for adoption whenever the time is appropriate. Now, you brought a child into my care, and after 2-3 years, you approach me that I should release the child for adoption. What is your contribution into the life of that child for the period he or she was in the home? So this is one of the practices that is a concern to me as a practitioner. And another point there, I wish I can access this thing directly, but this thing keep going on and off. I'll be with you in a moment. I'm trying to open that stuff again.
It's on the screen, sir.
Okay. Now, another worrying concern is institutionalization of children. And this is a crime on its own. When we institutionalize children, it's criminality on its own, and we are regularly doing this. I cited a case of a child that came in at age 2, and we allowed him to become an adult in our care. That is institutionalization. And there's another case that I was involved in. A child abandoned by the mother in the front of the supposed father's house. There were other children outside at that time playing. So when it was time for those children to disperse, this child didn't have anywhere to go. That was when they discovered that the child had been abandoned. It was a very interesting case at the beginning. And when the child was taken to police station, eventually the child found his way to one of the private care homes. And then at some point, the government had to provide money for DNA tests, because eventually we brought the supposed father to the court where he was ordered to undertake DNA tests. And the DNA result proved negative. That man was not the father of the child. And the direction of the case from day one was that after the DNA, if the result proved negative, that boy should be freed for adoption. And lo and behold, after the DNA result was read, the care order was discharged for the purpose of adoption, because there is a family that has been bonding with that boy. And just as the fella sang Government Magic in one of his songs, then a magic also came into this matter. After the care order had been discharged for the purpose of adoption, the new case manager from wherever brought the mother of the child into the picture, a mother who has never been there for 7 or 8 years, as the case may be. All of a sudden came into the picture. And from every indication, she's not fit. They were not even asking questions based on the result of DNA. They were not asking questions that, okay, now that we don't know the father of the boy, help us with information. The next thing was that the boy should be released to the mother. It was the court introducing the child to the mother, or the mother to the child, as the case may be. And the court went ahead to grant access to the mother, and also asked her to pay maintenance allowance of 5,000 naira per month. As I speak to you, this was about 2 or 3 years ago. That woman has not visited the boy in the care home. And I tried to speak to the magistrate, and I don't want to reveal things here, because there were things that are not pleasant to the ear. And then of recent, the case manager confided in me again that she spoke with the mother of the child, and the woman said, for those of you who understand about that, I do not want no everything to go back on 1 year. That is, I do not want to be a hindrance to that boy. That statement, if analyzed, simply tells you that the woman finally owned up that she's not fit to have that boy. Yet, the court is not willing to change its position and allow this boy to go for adoption. The case manager is not pressing the court. He's not even providing that information to the court. Now, the couple who had been supportive of that child for the past 8 years have withdrawn their support. That child is in the home. Now, so many instances. I'm not saying that we have not done good jobs. There are things that we are doing properly, and there are some that we are not doing properly. And these are just 2 of such cases. Now, 2 years ago, when I came to research and development, I organized, I called for stakeholders meeting, because by the time we collated and analyzed the data available to us, we discovered that there is a current trend, children becoming adults in our care homes. And then what is the plan? How do we reintegrate these people back to the society is a concern for me. And that the practice is still ongoing. When a child comes into a care home 2, 3, 4, 5 months without care order, institutionalization has begun. And then when you move a child from one home to another because of certain condition without any long-term plan, of course, the child will end up being institutionalized. Okay. Then incidents of bidding for adoptable children. This one is coming from the feedback we receive constantly from prospective adopters who have been going from one home to another, searching for children they will adopt. And then they'll come back to tell you that the moment we step into home A, they just gave us a list of needs. And usually when you go through those lists, you will see a need for 18-seater box, 14-seater bus for a home that does not have more than 5 children, asking prospective adopters to provide them with 14, 18-seater bus. Are they going to commercial transport business or what? Because I don't understand. Now, for as long as we continue to encourage this practice, it means that some children will miss out altogether from adoption, because if I cannot provide, then the child remains. But if, on the other hand, somebody else who can dance to the tune of this trend, of course, the child goes for adoption and continue with his or her destiny. But a situation where you compel adopters to do this without considering their post is something that we need to look at. Then, violation of right to religion. Even at the point of adoption, the law says that depending on the age, the maturity of the child in question, that child should continue with his or her religion, meaning that you are not, simply because you are acquiring parental right over that child does not mean that you should or that you must change the religion of that child. And then when you look at the fact that most of the care homes that we have today are owned by Christians, are we now saying that the majority of the children there, or all of the children in those homes, are Christian? Because I've not gone to any home where I'm told that child XYZ has gone for Juma service or has followed anti.
This is Fagbara. I think we lost him. Maybe due to network.
I think it's the network. Please unmute yourself, sir.
The network is so bad. So I think while we wait for him to come back on, he's already rounding up. I think we can take the question if we need to do that now. What do you think, Mrs. Olamide?
Let them prepare their questions while we await his final presentation.
Okay, we have a question already in the chat box.
Okay.
And that question says that if social workers care for people, who cares for the social worker, most especially when they are in need? I mean, we have Dr. Temilola online too. While we're waiting for Olorunso to join us, and we also have Nina, I think any of them can take the question. Who cares for the social workers? If we care for people, and when we are in need, who cares for us?
Dr. Temilola, are you available to take the question? Please, let's throw in our questions while we try to get Dr. Temilola also.
Okay, we also have the chairperson online, and we have other people that we can use that as a discussion. Why maybe the chairperson would like to say something about that. Why we wait for Mr. Biovano to come back on to continue. Who cares for social workers if we do care for people and we are in need? How do we take care of ourselves? Mr. Biovano, we can't hear you. Can you please unmute yourself? You are muted, sir. Okay, Mrs. Adeosun, your hand is up. Please, you can have the floor. I'm here.
Hello.
I am here.
Hello,
I
can you hear
asked
me
Mrs.
now?
Adeosun to go ahead. Please go ahead, ma.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead, ma.
All right. First, I'd like to congratulate everybody, especially the executives, for this conference. Now, my questions are: what are the alternatives that we are finding to these care homes? Do we have a fostering policy in the state? Do we have a register of foster parents? You know, how do we get foster parents and how do we supervise them? You know, if we have foster care, then many children will not have to stay in the care homes. They can now go to foster homes. Secondly, I would like to know if you feel strongly about the situation and you are having some concerns about what the court is doing, what avenue do you have, you know, to seek some redress? At least if you go to the normal court, you get to, even when your case is decided, you get to appeal. Isn't there anything like that in the care of these children? Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Not.
Thank you, Mrs. Adeosun. Your
Hello.
question is noted. Mr. Biobono, are you back on?
He's back
Mr.
on.
Biobono,
He's
can
back
you hear
on.
us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for the network issues. Please, we have 2 questions. Mrs. Adeosun just asked the question now, but I'll ask her to repeat herself. But there was one I read before while you were not available. It says that who cares for social workers when we care for others and we are in need? How do we take care of ourselves as social workers?
Yes, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
Yes, the owner of Lady Atinuke home, Mama Lady Atinuke, she's known to almost everybody here. I've known Mama Atinuke for so many years now, and the friends that were born is my house. She runs down to my house, and having listened to her, I take things up from there, and then she goes back home a happy person, a better person. Now, it is for of our colleagues. It is in our best interest to always after ourselves, like the spirit of Ubuntu, which is the theme for this year's celebration. But then, if you don't come out to share your challenges, nobody will know what you are facing through. So it is important for you to let pride go and then have 1 or 2 persons you can confide in the body of professionals that we have today. And then if it is necessary for whatsoever you are going through to be escalated to the association level, of course, that will be done. Otherwise, I believe that you should have 1 or 2 persons that you can relate with, that you can confide in, and things will be taken care of. So if you don't share your challenges, nobody knows what you are going through.
Thank you so much, Mr. Biovonu. We have a hand raised up, but Mrs. Adeosun asked the question, and I would like her to quickly ask the question again, because I think she was referring to alternative care arrangements and all. So I would like her to please quickly ask the question again. Mr. Adeosun, please kindly ask the question again. Why Mr. Samuel Ogbonna get ready to ask his own question? Okay, while we wait for her, let's have Mr. Samuel Ogbonna. Okay, please, technical team, please let's unmute Mrs. Adeosun. They're having issues unmuting themselves, please. Mr. Olowo, please, kindly help me unmute Mrs. Adeosun.
Okay.
Hello. Now, can you hear me now?
Very well.
Yeah. My questions are, do we have alternatives to these care homes? You know, because there's a proliferation and it's giving us issues to supervisors. So do we have fostering policy in the state? Do we have a foster parent register? And are they being optimally utilized? That is one. The second question is that if you go to a regular court and you have issues, your judgment has been delivered and you are not particularly happy, you can appeal. Do we have something like that in the juvenile courts?
Family court.
Can you in the family court? Can you appeal, you know, or revisit a case that you find, you know, like this?
Very well. Let me start with your second question on whether there's opportunity for appeal at the family court. The answer is yes. Usually, cases originate at the magistrate court level in the family court, and then the high court, the family court at the high court level serve as the appellate court. So if you are not satisfied with the judgment of the lower court, that's the magistrate court, then you can appeal. You have the right to appeal at the high court level as far as family court is concerned. Then whether we have a fostering register and all of that. Now, part of the services the ministry is supposed to provide through the adoption and fostering unit is fostering. The ministry has been established to provide not just adoption services, but fostering services. But then the fact also is that our fostering service has not been a success, so to say, because when government support foster parents in developed world where social work actually originates from, our practice here is to ask would-be foster parents to even pay for administrative charges. And you see people who want to help government take care of certain responsibility, and then you are not asking them to pay. Of course, it's not going to work. That is just the reason why our fostering is not working. Then there is also guardianship as alternative care. Our guardianship is working. It's not coordinated by the ministry because individuals can approach the court directly as far as guardianship is working. And then from my experience as a family court assessor, guardianship has been a success. It's been a success because you get to your counsel, you go to court, and then at some point, a social worker is mandated to carry out a suitability study and report back to court. And it's been working efficiently. And then recently, the SOS Village Nigeria has been in the forefront of other form of alternative care. I think 2 years ago or last year, I think the year before, we met for 2 days at, in a hotel in GRA, at the end of which the state technical working group was established. And then very recently too, some documents was passed to the ministry for us to look at and make our input before its adoption, its validation. So we are working with SOS to consider other form of alternative care. And it is our hope that this will reduce the placement of children in private care homes, because the slogan now is that homes should always be the last resort and not the first consideration.
Thank you so much, Mr. Biovano.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
are you still, okay, I thought you wanted to say something.
No, I'll wait for other questions to come.
Okay, we have another question in the chat box and is directed to you. It says that, who gave the court order to a care home? And what is the time limit for a care order on a child in the care home? Who gave the court order to a care home? And what is the time limit for a care order on a child in a care home?
Now, the case manager, it is the duty of the case manager to apply for care order for any child or a child in a home that has been assigned to that case manager to handle. So it is the responsibility of the case manager to approach the court and apply for care order. Now, if you read section 48 of the Child Rights Law very well, it talks about timetable. Timetable means that what are the things that you intend to do when you approach a court for 6 months, 3 months care order. You are supposed to have designed an action plan, things that you want to do in that 3 months, because the primary goal, don't forget, one of the rights of the child that we read through talks about right to family life. Children are not supposed to be institutionalized. The moment a child comes into a home, what should come to our mind is that, how long is this child going to be here? Because he or she is entitled to this particular right. you may be given that child fried rice, jollof rice, and what have you while in the care home. For as long as he or she is not in his or her immediate family setting, I don't think it's going to make any much difference in his life. Though he may not have access to those kind of quality food while with the parents, but the fact is that no place like home. So the case manager goes to the court, apply for care order, but the court, it is for the court to compel the case manager to come up with timetable. So in a way, the court has been indulging us, so to say. So we just go, and then I want 3 months. 3 months expire, you go back. I want another 6 months. And this is the reason why some children have ended up becoming adults, because no action is taken. You just go back, you renew. And it's not helping matters. Although some school of thought are clamoring that maybe we should put 2 years or whatever in the law, that we should be very, very specific. But even at that, when you look at that demand, it's because some people cannot successfully conclude their social investigation. They run into cases and then they don't know what to do next. Or maybe a child is abandoned, and then the court is saying that, convince me that this child is abandoned. And then when people don't know what to do, they are just waiting for some kind of escape route. Okay, it is 2 years that this child has been here. So can we free the child now for this or for that? No, we need to be seen. We need to be seen as doing our job. We need to know what we ought to do. If you don't know, ask people that know, and then you'll be assisted. So a child, though they come in with different situations, they come with different scenarios. So a particular child might spend 2 years in home, but that does not mean that every child must spend 2 years. Another child might spend 3 years in the home, but that does not mean that every child that comes into care must spend 3 homes. It is the responsibility of the social worker to carry out his or her social investigation and determine the way forward. Let's have it at the back of our mind that we must do everything to make sure that their stay in the home is for a timeline.
A temporary time.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Biovano. Okay, we have another question, but we have someone's hands raised for a while. Mr. Samuel, please quickly go straight to your question while he attends to it, and I read the other one in the chat box. Mr. Samuel, please unmute yourself. Admin, please, technical team, help us unmute him. Okay, while we wait for him to be unmuted, let me read the other question we have. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. My first question is, what is the ministry doing to protect some people that report case of child abuse to the government? Because at the end of the day, some of them are complaining that they face attacks from the family of the people they reported that is abusing.
Okay, can I take that now?
I think I should ask the other question so we can take them together because of time.
Okay.
Please kindly pen that down while you listen to the other one. It says that the other question in the chat box says that, is there a platform where a social worker can interact with these of our colleagues in the developed country and where the profession is well practiced so that we can learn more? Then the other one says that, what does guardianship entails? Can you shed more light on this? Guardianship, what does it entails? And also, are there specialized training for case managers to handle the clients in care homes, since these are supposed to be the last resort and the clients should be shielded from all sorts of abuse and maltreatment, and morale and payment for social workers in these settings are poor? So we have 3 questions altogether. I don't know how you can handle that in a very short time.
you help me take it one after the other. But let me start with that.
Sir.
Let me start with that of guardianship. Now, Now, the guardianship thing is that the court can appoint, even when you did not apply. In the case of a child, depending on his or her situation, the court on its own can pick up on Mr. XYZ to become the guardian after investigation has been done, that, okay, because of this child situation, we are appointing you as a guardian. And somebody who is so appointed by the court as a guardian can also appoint somebody as a joint guardian for as long as it's going to be in the best interest of the child in question. And then individuals can approach the court to apply for guardianship of the child. So these are the two ways it works. The court can appoint, and the individuals can approach the court through their application. And the other one.
Does he have a yearly?
What did you say, sir?
The guardianship, does he have a year of limitation? Year of limitation of guardianship. Does he have a limitation here? Maybe guardianship for 2 years, 5 years, or something.
No, even a weak-old child can be taken in on guardianship basis, especially if maybe the mother died during childbirth. So a guardianship can come in even as early as that period of time.
What I'm saying is that how many years can we be terminated? Or is it forever, or it has a
now, you don't forget that the child rights law is for children, and the age of a child terminates at 17 plus. So the moment an individual becomes an adult, that person is no longer considered as a child. So it's going to be a different ballgame at 18 when that individual attains the age of 18. Is that
Thank you
answered?
so much, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Due to our time, it's becoming very interesting, but the time is fast spent, and we've taken some of the questions. But the one I want you to answer is that, are there specialized training for case managers to handle clients in care homes?
Yes, we've been opportune to synergize with UNICEF, and personally, I've benefited from such synergy with UNICEF, where we've attended case management training and all of that. But then I'm not going to go without saying this, that we have professionals who have retired or are in the process of retiring from service. These are people who are well grounded in social work practice, and then we are not taking advantage of them. Someone like Mrs. and Omotosho, I didn't have the opportunity to be her supervisee while she was in service. But the fact is that very recently, I came across some files that she handled. And I tell you, I've gained a lot from those files. I've gained a lot from those files, things that have improved even my report writing and all of that. So how do we keep these people busy, even in retirement, to our own benefit? Because I've seen some reports in courts, and I begin to wonder, are these people social workers? I've seen some performances in family courts, and I begin to ask myself, am I really in the same profession with these people? So let NASoW bring this authority together, and let's see how we can tap into their wealth of knowledge for the betterment of those who are just coming up. What I have gained from files handled by Mrs. Omotosho, I can't say it, I can't tell it all, seriously speaking. And so now I realize that I mixed. So for others not to miss out, we can still bring these people together, and then maybe body of expert, whatever name you want to give them, and then they can organize training from time to time. Even those who are still in service can also be co-opted into such body for the betterment of everybody who are in this profession.
It's a continuous learning improvement for every social workers. We must engage ourselves in continuous learning, and we will see what NASoW can do at the state level to make sure that these opportunities, when opened, are also people are aware of it, and we can make sure that everybody learns at one time or the other. Thank you so much, Mr. Viovonu. I'm sure we have learned one or two things from what he has exposed us to today. And because of our time, I would like to call on Mr. Michael Shonubi, the Vice Chairman of Lagos State Nigeria Association of Social Workers, to please take the closing remarks.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Shonobi, are you there, sir? Okay. Mr. Vilbono, while I wait for him to be called upon, maybe he has network issues, can you quickly give us in less than a minute what measures has government taken to monitor the activities of the care homes?
Yes, there are supervisions at 3 levels. The level of research and development unit, that's the unit that started with registration and supervision of care homes. At the level of research and development, we focus on the structures of the care homes. Are they still what they were at the inception? And then you have child protection unit and the family social services unit. Their own supervision focused on
do something.
Their supervision focused on the children welfare and what have you. And so far so good. But then I'm expecting, I look forward to certain kind of reports that will show that we are not 100% perfect in what we are doing.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Mr. Shonobi, over to you for the closing remarks.
Thank you, the host, Madam Ronke. It's been a wonderful day for every one of us. I'm sure we have learned a lot, especially from our speakers and from our interaction with ourselves. So I'll foremost want to thank Mr. Joachim for being magnanimous. Magnanimous in the sense that he took his time out despite having concluded an online meeting. He took his time out to also be part of today. So we want to say a big thank you to him. Also, we want to say thank you to our speakers, Dr. Temilola, who has decided to Ubuntulize us. We also want to say thank you to Nenu and to Mr. Viavonu for his expository talk and presentation. And finally, not forgetting our backroom crew for their savvy, for their ups and downs in ensuring that everybody is giving quality contribution and quality participation. We want to thank the crew for your efforts, and not forgetting every one of us. I'm sure we have decided to sacrifice this time in order to be a better social worker. So on behalf of the association, on behalf of the executive, we say a big thank you. And please remember that the Ubuntu activities continues tomorrow. So we are still in the Ubuntu period. Let us extend our Ubuntu spirit to our friends, to our neighbors, to our family members, and to those in our community. Once again, thank you and God bless.
Green and pink tó sọ yẹn, ẹ̀gúsí ọ̀gbọ̀nọ̀ ló wà náà lọ. Thank you. Okay. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Okay, bye-bye. Thank you everyone for your attendance, for your patience. And we hope to see more of you in our other programs. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. As you go out there, make sure you become an Ubuntu social worker. Have others at heart. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. We appreciate you all. Nice having you all around. Certificate of attendance will be sent to your emails when they are ready. Please bear in mind. Happy celebration, everybody.